Hello. Apologies for the delay, but this is not a live stream, it is a test. So welcome to everyone who's watching, and if nobody is watching, that is absolutely fine because it's not a live stream, it's a test, and as a result... Hello. Apologies for the delay, but this is not a live stream, it is a test. Well, it's it's not a live stream, it's a test, and things are going wrong already, but who cares? We're playing around, we're testing this out, but what I do want to do is to test not just the fact that we are live streaming, but also to try a couple of things. So if you're here, do feel free to use the chat to ask a question and I will try and get to it. But just to kick off, I thought I would give you a little bit of content around the idea of project definition, because as many people know, project definition is absolutely a vital part of what we do. And because it's such an important part of what we do and it starts off the project, I thought it would be a great way to start off the idea of delivering live streams, although this is not a live stream. So we'll take a look at the project definition for live streaming on OnlinePMCourses YouTube channel. So what is it I'm trying to achieve with this live stream program that I'm establishing, and we'll explain that using the tool of a project definition document. And the project definition document that we'll use is the OnlinePMCourses one-page project definition template. So let's take a look at that. So what you can see on the screen now is the basic template that we're going to use. This is a 5-box template that will allow us to see all the different components of an effective project definition. And what I'm going to do is work our way through that so that you can see how we might use this template for a project definition. The 10 items in there are not the only things you might want to include in a project definition, and you might not need all of them in your project definition, but they are, I would argue, the 10 most commonly used and therefore most important of them. So the first thing we need to look at is the goal of our project. So let's transition to the goal. I can remember the technology. So what we can see here is the goal that I've set out for this live stream program, which is to reach more project managers and to grow the OnlinePMCourses community. I've been producing 2 videos a week for well over a year now, I think probably nearly 2 years now, and that has been very successful, but I think it's time for something new to add to the mix, and in particular to give people a chance to ask me questions, and so that I can respond to them. I get a lot of questions on the YouTube channel and through other channels as well, so it's good to have that, and it'll give you a chance to ask live questions. So please feel free, if you are watching, to add your own question now. Well, it's not a live stream. It's apologies, that shouldn't have come up. Neither should that. Right, we are good now. So what you can see next is the objective that we've set, and the objective I've set myself is to provide quality project management information and to answer any questions that you have. And it looks like we've got a comment from Felicity. Thank you, Felicity. I like the one-page template. Where can I get a copy? That's a great question. What I'll do is post a link to the template in the comments once I kind of finish the live stream and publish that. So take a look, keep a look on the website for that. So my objectives in the definition are to provide quality project management information and to answer any questions that you have. Next. The next thing is the scope. Now, scope is all the things you intend to do, to create, to build as a part of your project. And my scope is going to be the whole of project management. And it's also going to be building a project management career. So anything that will serve you as a project manager, whether you're at the very start of your career hoping to become a project manager, to take on project management challenges, even if you don't want to become a project manager, or if you're mid-career and you need more information, more ideas, questions answered, interesting discussions, then that's what I'm here to provide for you. Next, exclusions. It's important not just to describe what is in scope, what we are going to do in our project, but also to be very explicit about what we're not going to be doing, particularly around the boundaries. It's very easy for stakeholders to say, well, could you just do this? I'm expecting you to do that. And unless you've had a scope statement signed off which draws explicit boundaries and is really clear about what is not part of the project, then you run into the risk of scope creep. In this case, I'm going to make my scope of project management discussion very wide, certainly at the outset. We'll see where we go. But the one thing that I am going to exclude from these discussions is any disrespectful behaviour. If we get comments that are disrespectful to anyone else in the community or to project managers or to anyone in general, then I will try and deal with that as swiftly as possible. And if you see anything that concerns you in the chat, in any of my live streams, please do call it out. So next is the deliverables. What are we actually going to create for our sponsoring organisation? What are the physical products, the tangible experiences that we're going to create? In the short term, I'm planning to deliver a live stream of up to 1 hour every month, and that'll be on the first Tuesday of the month at 5 p.m. UTC. That's Greenwich Mean Time for those who aren't pilots. And that should allow most of my audience to watch it at a convenient time. It will be, I know I've got a large part of my audience both in North America and in India, which is a big span of the globe, but it means that it's not too early in the day for the people on the west coast of North America, and it's late-ish in the evening, but not ridiculously late for people in India. It's at a ridiculous hour if you're in Australasia. I apologise for that. I know I've got a fair few followers in Australia. So what's next is the dependencies and constraints. So let's take a look at that. We've got a number of dependencies. Since technology never ever goes wrong, I don't see that as a constraint or a great dependency. Seriously, I am enormously dependent on good quality services from the technology providers that I depend upon, and that includes YouTube, but I think YouTube is probably the strongest part of the chain. The weakest part of the chain is the monkey operating the keyboard behind the camera. I think the main constraint and dependency is family commitments. I've committed to doing this every Tuesday evening. Not every Tuesday evening, the first Tuesday of every month in the evening. As far as I can tell, my calendar's free for that, but there may come time when I have to shift the timing or shift the week to allow for that. In an organisational project, it's really critical to understand what your project is dependent upon, what other activities are going on in the project, in the organisation. It's also important to understand if there are any things that constrain the decisions you are able to make and the choices you're able to make in your project. For example, there might be rules, regulations, legislation, health and safety requirements that you need to play into. Let's have a quick check, see if there are any more comments. No, nothing more at the moment, so that means I'm going to move on to the next one, which is risks and issues. Let's have a look at what risks and issues I've identified. It's, again, always going to be the case that in a real project there are things that can go wrong and there are things that already have gone wrong. And that's the difference between a risk and an issue. A risk is something that could happen in the future. There isn't certainty about it, but there is a likelihood. An issue is something that either has already happened and you need to deal with it, or you know is going to happen and therefore you need to deal with it. The timing, that can vary. Risk and issue management is a core part of our project management discipline, and we should be starting to identify the big showstopper risks right at the outset of our project when we're defining it. And of course, technology is going to be one of those. And as I say, operator error is often the thing. But I guess, like many of you, we're dependent on the provision of broadband services which connect me to you. And so if that goes wrong, then potentially everything stops. The other risk, I guess, is that people don't turn up. This isn't a live stream, and therefore, there's at least one person has turned up. Thank you, Felicity. But if I don't get a big audience, then eventually I'm going to wonder about the value of it. But I do recognise that it's a long-term investment to build an audience and to figure out how to do this, how to promote this. And the third risk that I've identified is that there might not be enough stuff to talk about. Now, there's two ways of looking at that. One is, can I come up with an engaging topic every time I decide to do a live stream, every time I commit to do a live stream? I think the answer to that has to be yes. The other aspect is, are we going to get a stream of interesting questions from the community? And again, that one's in your hands, not in my hands. But again, I really do believe that there are going to be plenty of topics that you can engage with and ask me about. And I tend to take the approach that, ask me anything. If I can't answer it, if I don't know the answer, then I will tell you. And if I can, I'll take that away and research it and come back to a future live stream with an answer to that. The next thing we're going to look at is assumptions and uncertainties. These are intimately connected to our risks and issues because, of course, every assumption that we make carries with it the risk that the assumption is wrong. And uncertainties connect to risks because really a risk is just an uncertainty that can affect the outcome of our project. Importantly, of course, there are opportunities, and an opportunity is, if you like, a positive risk, a risk that has the uncertain outcome that might be a benefit to us. And there are a number of uncertainties and there's potential here in the real world and in the example I'm giving for some duplication and overlap. But I suppose my main uncertainty is there actually a demand for a project management live stream? Second uncertainty is whether I've got the timing right. YouTube provides quite a lot of analytics, believe it or not, around the number of people engaging with my channel on an hour-by-hour basis across the week. So there's a bar chart which shows a bar for every hour of every day of the week for 24 hours, and that bar, each bar is color coded, and the more intense the color, then the larger proportion of people are online. So what I know is that the largest concentration of people watching my YouTube channel is in what is for me the early afternoon of Monday and Tuesday. So, the late afternoon of Monday and Tuesday. So 3, 4, 5, 6 p.m. So a 5 to 6 p.m. live stream seems to catch the largest number of people if I put it on a Monday or a Tuesday, and I've gone for a Tuesday because I think probably quite a lot of people are still catching up with the start of their week on a Monday afternoon. And the other thing, I guess, that is an uncertainty to me, I've spent the last 20 years of my life, not including the last 12 months, I guess, mostly in live training environments, delivering live training. A large part of the last 5 years has been also delivering, 5, 6, 7 years, maybe 6 years, delivering training to camera. But what I've still not done a huge amount of is delivering to a live audience to camera. Now, I have done quite a lot of live training, particularly this year, as a result of the lockdown and the inability to get into the training room. I've delivered to conferences around the world, but all of those have had people who have been able to interact very easily. What I don't know is how that's going to work when we translate that to the YouTube live stream environment, where the only way you can interact is through the chat. But that's an uncertainty. My firm belief is that we can all learn to do anything we set our minds to, and no matter how poorly I'm performing this evening, this one isn't a live stream, so it almost doesn't matter. But over the coming months and years, I hope to get some feedback and hone my delivery style. Right, 2 to go. And the next up is going to be the key stakeholders. I don't think anyone who has an experience of project management will be surprised to learn that I consider the key stakeholders to be my YouTube project management community. And I mentally divide that into 3 groups. I make videos for 3 groups of people, really. Firstly, there are what I call the wannabe PMs, people who do not consider themselves to be a project manager but want to be a project manager. And again, that kind of splits into people who want to be a project manager as a career and people who want to be a project manager as a solution to a problem they've got in their workplace today. They have a project, they need to deliver it. There's no desire at this stage or intention to be a full-time project manager, but what they do hope to do is to deliver a project well, so to be that project manager. The second part of the community are the new project managers, and I suppose I make most videos for new project managers, people who are at the early stages of their project management career and still hoovering up large amounts of information about project management. And I do make videos, and I do want to be engaging with experienced project managers for whom I can offer some new insights and new ideas. Not the core learning that new and wannabe project managers need, but perhaps some thoughtful ideas, and particularly my Tuesday content. Tuesday videos are aimed more at the more experienced project managers, but hopefully in a way that's understandable to everyone. And finally, the last thing is who are the key team members, and what you see is what you get. I should probably cut away back to me for this one. I am at the moment the only key team member, the only team member that you've got. So take me or leave me. Nobody helps me to do these except a little bit of moral support from my family and also from a group of YouTubers who help me to improve my YouTube channel. But everything I do on YouTube is through my own endeavours. Don't have a production team, don't have a technical team, don't have a marketing team. So bear with me as things go wrong from time to time. Anyway, I don't want to take up more time of yours than I need. Let me have a little look to see if there are any more questions. There's another question from Felicity. Felicity says, I think it's interesting, Mike, enjoying how you're using the live stream as a case study. Yeah, one of the questions quite often people ask me on the videos that I make is, can we have examples? And if you followed my channel for any length of time, or you've looked at much of my content, you'll find a huge number of videos which are short descriptions of a key project management topic. What is Kanban? What is project definition? All of these are designed to be short, sharp, easy to access information, and therefore I haven't given lengthy examples. That's another good reason for doing the live stream in my mind. We can look at case studies, we can look at examples. You can ask me and I can respond with examples. So I very much wanted to kick off this by looking at project definition, because it's such an important foundational part of our project management. But secondly, I thought the best way to do that was with an example, and what better example than to use the current example. So thank you for that, Felicity. I don't know if there are any more questions. I don't know if there's anyone else on the live stream. If you are on the live stream, just put a comment. Otherwise, I think we'll probably wrap this up. It's a short half-hour slot that we've taken. If you have watched, or if you are watching in replay, thank you very much for doing so, and I look forward to delivering more live streams in the very near future. So I'm going to say thank you now, and I'm going to